in the sun-scorched deserts and craggy cliffs of the ancient Near East, a daring team of archaeologists is undertaking one of the most ambitious quests of modern history: the search for 30,000-year-old treasures tied to biblical legend, artifacts that, if found, could challenge long-held assumptions about the origins of human civilization, early faith, and the intersection of myth and historical fact. The idea sounds like something out of an Indiana Jones script, but for this international coalition of researchers, backed by leading universities and private sponsors, the mission is deadly serious. Their objective is to locate a network of deeply buried relics and possible scrolls predating known biblical texts, evidence that, if authenticated, could rewrite the timeline of spiritual belief systems and shed light on what some call the pre-Adamic era, a time long before the Garden of Eden was supposedly planted in Genesis. The team's focus centers around a series of newly discovered underground cave systems and eroded cliffside formations near the Dead Sea and southern Anatolia, regions long associated with ancient scripture, Mesopotamian legends, and early monotheistic rituals. Satellite imaging and ground-penetrating radar have revealed anomalies buried deep beneath layers of sediment, sparking theories that they could be sealed chambers or stone enclosures untouched since the Upper Paleolithic period. What is especially intriguing is that these locations correspond with ancient oral traditions, stories passed down for millennia among nomadic desert tribes, of hidden wisdom left by the ancients before the flood. Many of these tales, until now dismissed as myth, describe sacred objects crafted before the rise of agriculture, even before written language. And so here we find ourselves on the precipice of a stunning proposition: that physical remains of a lost world predating Abraham's wanderings might exist, concealed in subterranean sanctuaries or enshrined in natural shelters, waiting to be unearthed. This isn't just about relics or ruins. It's about glimpsing humanity's dawn, touching the echoes of our deepest stories and deciphering the language of the world's first faiths. It is about answering profound questions that have echoed through the ages. How did our spiritual journey begin? What did the world's first prayers sound like? And what secrets lie hidden in the caverns of our past? Leading the expedition is Dr. Miriam Solas, a biblical archaeologist with a reputation for balancing scientific rigor with an open mind toward ancient lore. Her previous discoveries, including Bronze Age temple fragments in northern Israel and a fragmentary pre-Canaanite tablet, have drawn both praise and controversy. Now her team is chasing what some skeptics call a fantasy, the belief that spiritual or proto-religious cultures existed tens of thousands of years ago and left behind tangible relics of their beliefs, possibly the earliest scriptures not carved in letters, but encoded in symbols, bones, and ritual tools. We're not claiming we'll find the Ark of the Covenant or a literal staff of Moses, Dr. Solas told international media, but what we are looking for are evidences of worship, cosmology, and encoded knowledge that go back to humanity's first understanding of the divine. Before organized religion, before temples, before priests, we believe there may be a lost link between the spiritual memory of early humans and the origins of the sacred narratives that later became the Bible. While conventional archaeology tends to focus on cities, kingdoms, and monumental structures, the search for pre-Adamic relics is a decidedly under-the-radar affair. Many critics argue that the very concept of a pristine Eden and its preceding era is a theological construct, not a historical reality. To them, any objects predating Abraham would have purely ritual or mythological significance, not a connection to the Genesis narrative. However, proponents counter that ancient oral traditions and the Bible itself allude to a time before the biblical flood when giants roamed the earth and Adam's descendants lived for centuries, a world radically different from the one we inhabit today. To uncover these hidden threads of history, the team is relying on a combination of cutting-edge technology and traditional archaeological methods. Ground-penetrating radar scans the subsurface without disturbing the surface, revealing voids and cavities invisible from above. By mapping these subterranean spaces, the team can pinpoint likely candidates for further investigation. Meanwhile, satellite imagery provides a bird's-eye view of vast areas, helping identify sites for their initial surveys. On the ground, Careful excavation by hand allows the team to layer in additional clues. Every stratum tells a story. Animal bones, flakes of flint, traces of ancient hearths, each fragment weaving a richer tapestry of human occupation and use of the land across millennia. What makes this quest particularly compelling is that these regions have long been associated with ancient scripture, Mesopotamian legends, and early monotheistic rituals. The Dead Sea Scrolls, discovered in the mid-20th century, provided an unparalleled glimpse into Jewish life and scripture during the Second Temple period. But they only tell part of the story. The caves near the Dead Sea, some believe, may hold echoes of an even earlier time, whispering tales of a world before the familiar narrative of Adam and Eve took root. Excavations have already unearthed unusual artifacts, intricate carvings in red ochre, stylized animal figurines with eyes made from crushed gemstones, and spiral-patterned stones arranged with clear astronomical intent. Carbon dating of charcoal found nearby places. Some of these items, between 28,000 and 32,000 years old, long before the rise of summer, Egypt or the Hebrew patriarchs. Some of the cave walls depict strange humanoid forms reaching toward the heavens, surrounded by stars and arcs, what some interpret as symbolic acts of prayer, offering, or celestial worship. Yet what has truly electrified the team are the fragments of preserved organic material, found buried in clay urns sealed with beeswax and pitch. While testing is ongoing, early analysis suggests these bundles may contain woven plant fibers with encoded knot patterns, potentially representing an ancient form of protoscript, a kind of symbolic language based on shapes and repetitions. If decipherable, they could offer insight into the rituals, myths, or cosmology of humans who lived over 25,000 years before Moses would walk the deserts of Sinai. Critics, of course, abound. Many mainstream archaeologists argue that assigning religious meaning to such early artifacts risks projecting modern ideas onto prehistoric objects. Some caution against connecting these finds too closely with the Bible, noting that the Old Testament, as we know, it didn't begin to take written form until around 1000 BCE, over 25,000 years after the dates proposed for these artifacts. But proponents argue that the Bible itself hints at more ancient roots. The book of Genesis refers to giants in the earth in those days, to a time before the flood, and to descendants of Adam who lived for hundreds of years. Stories many believe echo much older myths found in the Epic of Gilgamesh, Sumerian king lists, and oral traditions of early nomadic peoples. There is no reason to believe that the spiritual instinct began with writing, says Dr. Solas. If anything, the earliest humans were deeply spiritual. These treasures may not be biblical in the narrow sense, but they may help explain the worldview that made the Bible possible. As the team digs deeper, both physically and symbolically, they face enormous challenges: punishing heat, unstable terrain, political obstacles, and fears of artifact theft or religious backlash. Already, a mysterious black market group has been caught attempting to bribe local diggers for access to the caves. The governments of Jordan and Turkey are monitoring the sites closely, wary of claims that could inflame religious tensions or prompt looting. Yet the work continues. Each day, the archaeologists brush away dust from bones and stones that haven't seen light in 30,000 years. Each find, a feather charm, a carved disc, a footprint fossil, adds to a growing puzzle, a vision of early humanity as builders of meaning, not just survivors. At the heart of the mystery is a question that has haunted theologians and scientists alike. When did humans begin to search for God? Was it with the first fire, the first burial, the first question uttered toward the stars? This quest is more than an archaeological mission. It's a testament to humanity's enduring curiosity about its own beginnings. Whether or not the team uncovers physical links to the biblical narrative, the search itself sheds light on the profound human need to understand our origins and the nature of the divine. In the end, the treasures of the pre-Adenic era may lie not just in material relics, but in the very questions we ask about the dawn of our species and the birth of our spiritual yearnings. As the excavations continue, the world watches with bated breath, eager to see what secrets the earth will yield, and how our understanding of the earliest chapters of human history might be rewritten. The quest for 30,000-year-old biblical treasures is a daring venture into the unknown, But as each layer of history is uncovered, it offers a profound reflection on the depths of human ingenuity, faith, and the eternal quest to understand our place in the grand tapestry of existence. Who knows what wonders await in the subterranean chambers and ancient shelters of the past? Perhaps the answers to our most profound questions lie hidden in the whispers of the wind, as it dances through the caverns of our ancestors. Maybe the echoes of their prayers and rituals still resonate within the stones, waiting for patient hands to unearth them and unveil the secrets they hold.